You've just seen a viral video on someone else's channel and you think to yourself, there's an angle on that exact viral video that I can take, or that will work perfectly on my channel anyway because we're roughly in the same niche, so I'll just do my own version of it. It gets 1 million views on their channel and 100 views on yours, and you think that the YouTube algorithm is out to get you. But I'm here to burst your bubble and say the phrase that you don't want to hear. That person's viral video won't work for you, and here's why. Hello everybody, welcome back to VidStew, where I just go on rants about YouTube strategy from everything I've learned working with clients, building my own content and all that sort of thing. Very unedited, just giving my flow of thoughts on a certain topic. And you can check this out here on YouTube and also on Spotify as well if you prefer, just get it daily to your ears. But I want to talk about something big in this one because I see this all the time and I've done it myself as well. You see a video go viral on someone else's channel. The video may or may not be in your niche, but you decide, especially if you're a new creator, I'll just do that then, or I'll do something so similar to it because that one went viral, so it's obviously going to work for me, right? And that person got millions of views, and then you put it on your channel and it underperforms, right? Even if you're a channel that has hundreds of thousands of subscribers, compared to your normal videos, it doesn't do well. And you think, right, the algorithm is weird here, something's odd, it's working against me. You come up with all different excuses. But the relative fact is, if you actually want to understand why that happens, it's pretty obvious. And when you think about it this way, it'll start to help you unlock a simple way of figuring out how to decide what topics to cover. So let me explain why that viral video won't work for you. And it's simply in how the algorithm decides to show your video for the first time. Okay? So let's talk about it. Let's say we pick a multi-million view video. Let's say James Janney, for example, who did a video a couple of years back on FTX, right? And let's just say you're a channel that does stuff on, say, the finance market or just on money in general, okay? And maybe your audience isn't into documentary style videos, it's not into crypto generally, but you do something that you could kind of spin it into, right? Let's just say that, for example. Let's say your audience is more into daily news on finance updates, right? So you take the James Janney documentary about FTX and you try and publish it on Graham Stefan's channel, right? And Graham Stefan, let's just say, normally gets 50,000 views per video. He puts this video that got 9 million views on James Janney onto his channel and it does 20k views. And he wonders, that's an hour-long documentary we've just spent thousands of dollars producing and it went nowhere. Now, if it's Graham Stefan, he may be able to promote it first and so on, but I'm just assuming here you just drop it like any other video and you just build it completely, right? It's not going to work because what happens is when that video goes out on either channel, right? James Janney had built up a lot of people who are interested in long-form deep dives into crypto. This was the exact audience for that video. So when that video comes out, it goes to the last viewers from the last 90 days, the most recent segment of viewers who'd watched James Janney's show, and they ate it up. They loved it. And therefore, YouTube went, okay, we'll split it a little bit wider, a little bit wider, a little bit wider, and it keeps going. And then suddenly, boom, it gets critical mass and it takes off, right? Now, if we flip over to Graham Stefan's channel, who is another brilliant creator, but like completely different, he launches it on his channel. A person like me who watches Graham Stefan, for example, wakes up, sees a video about FTX and thinks, oh, cool, this is going to be a video about the crypto market collapsing. I have some money in crypto. I should find out about this. They click on it only to find out it's a long-form documentary investigating what went wrong at FTX, a deep dive into Sam Bankman-Fried himself and the fraud and the drugs and everything else. And I think, this is cool, but it's not really for me right now. And I click away. That means that the people who have kind of, YouTube has a lot of data on that watch these videos day in, day out, right? YouTube goes, okay, normally these people click through first thing on these videos. They watch pretty much the entire thing. Sometimes they'll watch a second video. They'll comment, they're engaged. And on this video, they clicked in and at best watched it for about 3 minutes, clicked save to watch later and went off to watch another channel, or maybe worst of all, left YouTube entirely. YouTube sees that as a massive failure with that first audience that it shared with the finance news people, not the finance documentary people, and decides that instead of widening that audience, it's going to go, okay, maybe it just didn't work with those people. So it'll keep showing it inside a smaller and smaller audience. That is where you get the warning on YouTube, on the studio, this video is being shown to a smaller audience. Because what happens is YouTube doesn't have the confidence to share it outward, so it keeps testing it inward until you change the thumbnail or until something changes for that video to start banging with your recent audience, right? So the key that I'm making here is that you need to figure out one thing. If you want to use viral videos as something you could use, because for years and years and years, the advice was use the other viral videos and bring them into your niche. And what people, I think, just always heard was copy viral videos. But the second part of that is what's important, okay? The second part of that is simple. I'm going to give you the best piece of advice for topic creation that I think I've ever found, and hopefully you enjoy it. You need to find topics with a massively wide audience and then frame them for your recent audience. Frame them for the last 90 days of videos you've had, right? Ideally, the most successful video you've had in the last 90 days, you take this topic for a wide audience that maybe is getting massive reach and you frame it around yours. Let's try and think of an example here. I'm going to try and think of one off the top of my head, but let's say, for example, we're doing one on, the Iran war is going off. It's going off like wildfire and everyone's talking about it. It's big news, millions of views everywhere. But you don't run a news channel. You run a channel talking about, the history of warfare, right? So you're kind of roughly in a niche where you could talk about this, right? Or maybe you run a channel that talks about oil futures. This is perfect for you. But let's say history of warfare, because Iran isn't the history of warfare. It's an ongoing topic. So if you publish that, you'll obviously get some people who are interested in geopolitics because your channel's there. But if most of your recent videos are about old wars like Vietnam, why that collapsed, whatever, then that audience who likes history content isn't going to love this straight away. And they're probably going to get their news and geopolitics from somewhere else. So when they see you try to cover it, it just doesn't map. Your hardcore fans love it. But when YouTube goes outside of that to your recent audience, they're kind of not really interested. However, you take that same video and you package it instead into what history teaches us about where the Iran war will go. Suddenly, you've got people who are interested in history. They get to frame the video around Iraq, for example, Vietnam, whatever it may be, and look at the history of war, which they're clearly interested in because that's what your banger views are all around, mapped onto this topic. So you're giving a very unique view that works perfectly with your audience, has a wide range, packaged perfectly for you. So you're trend grabbing, just like everyone else, but putting it onto your audience. The key point I'm trying to make here is just because a topic has done really well on another channel doesn't mean it'll work well on yours. And actually, it might just bomb on yours because it really needs to fit with the audience. So the best piece of advice I could give you about selecting topics, which is honestly, the most important part, because if the topic's wrong, no amount of bandage will work. It's like the old thing of Sarah Palin. You can put lipstick on a pig, as Obama said. But probably shouldn't say that. But the point here is you need to look for topics with a massively wide appeal of audience, right? There has to be millions of viewers who would be interested in the topic. And then the next step is the packaging. You take that topic and you try and frame it around your recent audience. YouTube gives you all the details for this. If you go to VidStew and log in for the first time and go to audience context, it will show you what to put in terms of like last 28 days, new viewers, casual viewers, regular viewers. And we do that to make sure that whatever topic you're bringing in actually fits with your own audience, right? This isn't to say you have to focus all your content around that audience. There's ways to kind of build out of that, but that's going to be harder before it's easier. We'll talk about that in a future video, but like how to build a new audience is a different thing. So subscribe if you want to hear about that, and I'll see you for the next one.